Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to another one of our paid co-founder trainings that we do on Mondays and Thursdays, with yours truly. And we're going to be adding paid training for Tuesdays and Saturdays for those in the UK time zone. So, um, so that's going to be done by Mr. Gildis out of Africa. He's in Cameroon, Africa. And so, yeah, we're going to have paid training all over the place. And even tomorrow, on our Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing a paid opportunity meeting. So people that show up to the opportunity meeting can get paid as well for supporting that and being there to support the new people that may be coming in to take a look at what we're doing. So get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid. It's a lot of money to get paid here. But you need to realize it's probably more, I should probably say it's more like a bonus than it is a pay. Because a pay maybe gives the idea that it's cash in hand, and it didn't quite work that way. Today we're going to talk about how to properly view what we're doing. So certain terms are just easier to say, but it doesn't necessarily mean what you might think it means. We have to go a little deeper than that because, like I said, what we're doing is so different. But I know here in the Philippines, for example, where I happen to reside, I'm an American, obviously, and I reside in the Philippines. I live here, I got a Filipino wife. So here, $10 a day is a pretty good pay. You get an office job working 9 to 5. They pay you $10 a day, US dollars. They pay in pesos, of course, but it's the equivalent of $10 US money for a whole day's work, for a whole, 8 hours of work and all that. And that's considered really good pay for working really, really hard in the Philippines. And that kind of pay is pretty common around the world. So as you go around to a lot of the underdeveloped countries, or what people might call developing countries, they're in the process of being developed. Many of them are about the same. $10 is considered good money for a day's work. And but here you come in for an hour, spend some time with yours truly or Mr. Gildis now that he's coming on board to do the paid training and get $50. 50 is 5 times as much as 10. So I can see what the attraction is, but we need to also take it in stride that it's not 50 that's easily cashed out. Okay, it's $50 of a coin that we really don't want you to sell. Instead, we'd like you to use it as collateral to get a loan, and then use that collateral to get into the PML coin. And ultimately, the PML coin is when it's more liquid, where you have more freedom to sell the PML coin. So it's about converting your bonus, your paid training here, into PML coins, and then that way cashing out. Okay. So let me show you what this is all about. Let me share my screen. Okay. So 193 Hunter are attending right now. Okay, so ultimately what we want to do is, those of you that are listening to my voice, we want to get you up to millionaire status in the shortest period of time possible. Can I get a hallelujah or something for that,
Would love it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
Yes,
go.
sirree.
Fantastic.
Now,
Hallelujah.
how do you do that?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
Hallelujah.
Let's go, Marching.
Amen, amen, amigo. Amen.
all right?
Amen.
Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you.
Amen, 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 amen.
You see, this is in demand. What we have here is
Goodness.
an idea that's in demand, take the shortest path possible to millionaire status. Now, we're not just talking about being a paper millionaire, because there's plenty of those around the world. Okay. We're talking about cash flowing, spendable money to the tune of $1 million a year, spendable money, cash flowing. How does that sound? That's even better, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
great.
Yes, sir.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, that's the kind of millionaire we're talking about. We're talking about not just
That's
on a computer screen it says you're a millionaire, but you actually have a flow of money coming through your fingertips on an annual basis of $1 million that you're free to do what you want to do with it, right? I hope y'all get all out of debt and all that, but you don't have debt. But after you're out of debt, you know, you can go into making your dreams come true. Okay, with $1 million a year cash flow, that would make any one of you, able to make your dreams come true. We all have different dreams. I hope all of your dreams come true. That's the whole point of this. But it's about scaling, okay? Scaling. See, it says here, save and scale up. We have 4 pools. We got the $1, $10, $100, and $1,000 pool. And the idea is to move your way into the $1,000 pool. You plus 4 of your referrals come into the $1,000 pool, and you'll be cash flowing $1 million a year. Okay. So how do you do that? How do you get to that point? And let's talk about this. Let's also acknowledge the fact that when we do the system here, and we come in here to our account page, and we click that Pay Now button, you need to realize that when you click Pay Now, your sponsor is actually receiving a USDT coin from you when you click that button. And USDT is extremely liquid, meaning you could immediately, without consequence, cash it into paper money. No problem, and it's encouraged. Okay? So we're not asking you to accumulate large quantities of USDT coin. You don't need to. You can convert those as quickly as you need to into whatever you want. If you want to be in paper money, so be it. Okay? But the cool thing about this website here is it allows you to sell coin that you never purchased. Okay? Whether you're in the $1 pool or the $100 pool, it doesn't matter. When you're offering this website to other people, they're coming in, they're your referral, and they're paying you. 100% commission goes to you, and it's instantaneous. Okay? So you get 100% of whatever they pay. And that's every day. So if you've got 4 people sending you $1,000 USDT every day to get $1,000 of our PFG coin, okay, there's only 10,000 of those coins, by the way. So they're buying $1,000 of that coin from you, and they're doing it through the website. As they do that action, they are not impacting the market at all. They're not making the price of the PFG coin go up. They're not making the price of the PFG coin go down. The price doesn't get affected at all when they go to our website to do that transaction. So the cool thing is this, okay? You're able to sell something you didn't buy in the first place. You're able to get 100% instantaneously for it from the moment that someone pays for it. And they just use our website, and it only takes seconds to do it. Wow, that's a great system. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about systems that make you rich, wealthy, prosperous, live a life in abundance. Systems. Okay. Compare that to the idea of working for money. Okay. Working for money is just a simple trade-off of you put your time, energy, and effort, maybe talent and skill, into something that then pays you for that, right? Maybe like a salary or a wage or something like that. And yes, when you get paid, you can use all that money because it's probably just in some, paper version anyway. It's probably dollars or euros or whatever it might be where you live in your country. And that's how you're getting paid for trading your time, energy, and effort, skill, and talent for money. Okay. But the limitation there is you only have so many hours per day. That's a pretty severe limitation because as much as some of us might be willing and wanting to be able to work 24 hours a day, where it's just not possible for us as, in this human being form that we're in. Okay. So that's a pretty big limitation. So if you're trading your time for money, based on the way economics work in the year 2025, you're probably poor. Okay, that's the reality. I don't care if you're in the US or Canada or Australia or any other place like UK or any other Western country, even those people in those so-called rich countries, even those people that are only trading their time for money, they find themselves to be poor. And even some people you might say, well, how could a person that makes $300,000 a year in the US be poor? You'd be surprised that the same people that are, that are making $300,000 a year, 62% of them have so much debt that they can't get out of debt. And they're making $300,000 a year, and yet their debt is so big, they can't get out. They can't get out from underneath it, even though they got $300,000 because they're trading their time for money. That is how you stay poor, guys. So when you come in for paid training, don't think of it like you're trading an hour of your time to get paid $50 to show up and just be somewhere for an hour. That's the wrong way to look at it, okay? Because that's poverty thinking. That's how poor people think. Now, I've always said that, the solution to poverty is simple. We need to recognize that all poor people have a mental condition. Okay, it's true, 100%. All poor people have a mental condition. So the question I'm going to ask is, what would happen in the world if everybody in the world that's poor were to change their mind? What would happen if all the poor people in the world would just change their mind so that they don't have that same mental condition keeping them in poverty, right? What if they flip the switch?
Wouldn't be poor.
They wouldn't be poor anymore, right? The mental condition is a matter of changing your mind. See, if you're rigid in the way you think, if you say, you know what, this is how I am, this is who I am, you identify with it, you say, this is the way it is, this is who I am, I'm a certain way, take it or leave it. Okay, really hard to help that kind of person. That person's too rigid, right? They're not willing to grow or change or improve because they've already identified with a certain way of looking at the world. If you want to change your mind, you got to be open to change, which means that you got to be open to training, which means that you got to be open to receiving new information, process it, digest it, and then do something about it. Make some changes. Start small, do little things first, and build up from there. And that's how you go from a poor person to a rich person. Otherwise, the poor person that is unwilling to change, unwilling to look at the world in a different way, unwilling to take good advice, that poor person will stay poor, regardless of if they're here with us in the group meeting that we're in right now, or they're outside of this meeting somewhere in the world. A person unwilling to change it's hopeless for them. We can't help them. So let's be good on inviting people that you have a clue that they are open to change. Okay, because we really need more people that are open to change coming in to pull funding than people that are rigid in the way that they think. Maybe test the waters with someone. Say, are you willing to improve your life? Or just a version of that question. There's 1,000 ways to ask that same question, but try to find out if they are willing to change. Because for things to get better, you have got to get better. Okay, many have said that. So it's true. You can't expect things to get better unless you get better. That's just the truth, okay? So when we're giving you $50, which is 5 times more than what they pay you at an office job in the Philippines, working all day long, okay, for showing up for an hour, right? And we give you $50. That's not $50 that, hey, I'm going to go spend it. That's what poor people do. They're rigid in the way they think. I'm going to cash it out. I'm going to take it. I'm going to go spend it and then come back to the next training and get more. Look, I'd like to make paid training an ongoing thing. Would you guys like me to make it an ongoing thing?
Yes.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
Okay. I need your
Absolutely.
cooperation. So we need to treat this like a bonus and not like a spendable cash money. Okay, so basically we're gonna put it into a system. All right, so basically we're gonna take that $50 of PFG. Okay, there's a reason we're using PFG right now. The first day we tried this with PML, and then the price of PML came down, because we're more open to selling PML, right? As the way we're situated. And so I like, well, we can't do PML again. We'll switch to one of the pool funding coins that are, they know that there's severe penalties for selling it, right? So here's the thing. It's kind of a self-eliminating thing. It's like if you sell your PFG coin, then you're going to lose your position in the distribution list. And when you come to show up the next training, you won't be eligible to get the paid training again. Right? You get it? Okay. So the opportunity to sell, that'd be a one-off and to be kind of screw up your situation, right? No, I'm going to show you the pathway to make this work. Okay. But just realize that I think your time is worth about $50 an hour. How do you feel about the way I think about you? You guys like the idea that I think you are worth $50 an hour to listen to me for an hour? You think you like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's wicked.
Okay. All right. Because some of you have a boss that think you need to work all week long to get that. 40 hours, So, anyway, so I hold you in high regard. I care about you. I want you to go from here to there. Okay. And let's say that the aim here is $1 million, status, be a millionaire. Okay. And I really think that all of you listening to my voice can do it. Will you all do it? No, of course not. But I know you can. Okay. But all limitations are self-imposed. I'm not in charge of that switch. You are, right? So if you have the switch, like you're going to limit yourself, then that's on you, not me. Okay. But I know you can do it. I know what I'm teaching here is not something you have to have a doctorate or a PhD in order to understand it. I teach it in very simple terms. Okay. And I'm not trying to, talk over anyone's head here. I'm trying to show you that the path is available for the most average of average people around the world to be a millionaire. Why is that? This is the system. Okay. It's the system that makes all of it possible. Okay. Without the system, what do you got? Okay. Well, think about it. The whole
Nothing.
world is running on systems. This system and that system and this other system. Everything is a system, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But now look, we have a system that's built specifically to create wealth for just regular people. And now we've improved.
I only knew that I had one.
We've improved the system that you can actually create, a pretty good lifestyle, if you will. You can create a pretty good lifestyle even if you don't build a team. Okay. So we have now improved it. And I'll come back to that in a minute, what I'm talking about there. So we want you to build a team because the team, you're going to find the thing that's going to pay you the most to exist on this planet. The thing that's going to pay you the most is just how good you are at building a team. Okay. If you're terrible at building a team, okay, then it's going to impact just how well you're going to do financially. If you're awesome at building a team, same thing is true. There's a direct correlation between your ability to build a team or not build a team will determine just how much of that wealth pie you can get access to. Now, you could always start out as terrible and become great. Okay. I can name off 1,000 things that I was horrible at before, and now I'm like an expert at today. Okay. I mean, I had no natural ability. In fact, I had below average ability on a lot of things in my life. And then because of just effort and determination, I was able to overcome myself. I was the one that had to beat. I had to beat myself. I had to win within. Okay. I had to challenge me. And then as I challenged me, I turned something that was hard for me into something that became easy for me. But it took a little time and effort to do that. Training helps. I read pretty much every book you can imagine. Anyway, In fact, I just recently met, somebody I really admire a lot, who wrote the book Millionaire Mindset. I read that 30 years ago. Okay. Millionaire Mindset. I read that a long time ago. All right. So I just had a Zoom meeting with him a couple of days ago. And I'm pretty excited about this, being able to meet this guy who I really looked up to what he was writing in that book, because I knew 30 years ago, longer than that, 40 years ago, that I wanted to be, really successful in this world financially. I knew that. I knew that this world kind of operates on money, and like, if you don't have that much money, it's not that good of a life. And like, I knew all that. A lot of people don't figure that out till they're dead. But I figured it out, early on, that, hey, you want a good life, have lots of money, then you'll have a good life, Not that money, what do they say? Money doesn't create happiness. What's the saying? Money doesn't buy you happiness. Money doesn't buy you happiness, but I don't know any poor people that are happy because they're poor. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So even though you can say money doesn't buy happiness, I can say, well, I can buy some. There's a lot of things that make me happy, and I can buy it if I have the money to buy it. So it kind of does make me happy when I have money to buy stuff. But no, it's not the only thing that matters. Okay? Not the only thing, but it does matter a lot if you think about it. Without money, life kind of sucks, If you got lots of money, life can be a real pleasure, can be a lot of fun. You have more
I'm
options
happier
for
the
sure.
people.
You have a lot of more options. So I hope to motivate all you that are thinking, what's all the point to this, and why do I need to care about a system, and why do I need to put in the energy to kind of understand something? Why? Well, if you want lots of money, you might want to know why the system does what it does and why it matters, and why you need to look at that $50 that you're getting for showing up to the training as something that's part of a system, not something you go ATM and yank it out. Because you do that one time with PFG, then the next time you come to a training, you're not going to get $50, or the next time, or the next time, or the next time, or the 100th time, or the 200th time. Who knows how many times we're talking here, right? You don't want to cut yourself off by selling, because we don't sell our pool funding coins, especially PFG. Okay, why PFG? Let's go there, because that's part of our system. Why PFG? Why select that coin? Well, first of all, we got some room to breathe on PFG. If you take a look at PFG and you look at the price of PFG right now, it is $346,000 right now, almost 350,000. Okay, but at this chart, it looks like it's down here in the bottom. Look, it's when the bottom is 350,000. That's the clue, okay? Right? Because up here we were at 3.5 million, okay, for PFG. Down here at 350,000, okay? And so if you take a look at the holders of PFG, all right, we've got there's only 10,000 PFG coins. That's why they're so expensive. But there's 368 holders of it right now, okay? And like if you go to the 50th person down here in the list, the 50th person, the 50th largest person out of that 600 and change, no, out of that 300 and change, almost 400, the 50th largest person's got 0.000988 coin. Okay, that's a long ways away from 1%. Okay, this person here, 50th on the list, even if they sold everything that they got, it's such a small amount, not going to impact the price too much. But if I keep giving you guys $50, $50, $50, $50, eventually it will add up to something, right? And yeah, you could sell, and then that could impact the price, and we go take it in the wrong direction. You see, the direction we want the price to go back up to 3.5 million. In fact, we wanted to get it to 4 million. We were so close to getting it to our target 4 million, and then we had a couple of really bad actors come in and just gut us because they, were cheating. They had multiple accounts and all that, which is why we take a picture now to prevent that from happening again. Okay, so PFG, we've got some room to breathe. There's a lot of $50 bills inside of that $350,000 price. Okay, the holders of PFG, they don't have much ammunition. Very few of them have much ammunition at all to bring the price down. Okay, but as we give it to you as paid training, look, it's under the idea that you're not going to cash it in. You cash it in, you lose your ability to get paid training again. Okay, right? So no, you don't cash it in. Instead, you can use it as collateral. Okay, so that takes us over to our other website. Let me share that with you. So our other website is PML Coin. Got an echo for some reason. All right, so we come here, go to the dashboard. Okay, and you can actually borrow. Okay, come in here and borrow against the coin here. Now I shouldn't be able to borrow anymore. Let me click on it here. Nope, borrow limit for the month reached. Okay, I did that yesterday when it was the first day. So I encourage all of you. Can't get out of there. Oh, I see. So the screen is so dark. Let me try that again. Here's the X. Okay. All right. So on the first day of September, I went in and I borrowed 5 loans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop! I thought I'm limited to 4. Well, that's how the code should have been written, but I discovered that was a bug. So I didn't tell people about it. I just told the programmer, fix this now before everybody finds out. They could do more than 4 loans. All right. So I did 5. But you know what? I just did that yesterday. Okay. And the cool thing about this, do you guys think I've got enough PML coin here? Can I pay off some of these loans?
Yeah, you should be okay.
Oh, okay. It's going to cost me $100 to pay off each one. Let's see. I'll click on this one. Yes, pay now. And it's going to take 00044 PML to pay it off. So confirm that. Let's see if this works. Your transaction is complete. Close extension. So I've used some of my stash, my PML stash that I've got up here. I've used a bit of it. Okay, it went from 83,000 down to 82,900. Okay. All right. So now I've got 5 loans that are paid off, and I've got 4 more. Might as well pay them all off. Let's just pay them all off. Let's make somebody's day. Who knows? Maybe make a couple of people happy today. They'll have $100 of PML coin they weren't expecting so soon, right? See, we can pay these off early. Again, part of the system is pay off your loan as early as reasonably possible for you. That's different for each person, what that means, okay? For me, I got deep pockets. I'm going to just pay early. I took out a loan for 1 day, and I'm paying it off because my deep pocket says I can, and so I shall. I'm just going to flex my muscles, and say I can do it. Why? Because it helps the system. I'm putting grease in the wheels. The system's going to work smoother now because I'm helping it. Okay. There we go. Close extension. I think I got 1 more to pay off. And then bada bing, bada boom, I have paid off all my loans. I'm debt free. I don't have any debt. Okay. I'm good. The lender is super happy. 5 lenders, 5 different loans. They each got $100 of coin. Okay, PML coin from me. It came out of my wallet here into their wallet direct. Okay, that's the beauty of our PML website. So you can use the PFG coin that you're getting for paid training as collateral to get a loan, right? And then that gets you into PML. Okay. Now, just because you have some PML doesn't mean you want to hurry up and sell that either. We want you to look at PML like a savings account, not an ATM. Okay? On one hand, I want to do a spreadsheet, and on the other hand, I think I just talk you through the idea. I'm going to try to talk you through the idea, see how that goes. Okay, but let's just talk. And Jeffrey, I know you put your hand up. I'll get back to you in a minute. Let me talk you through this. If you're a poor person, okay, this is the way they think. I got money online. I'm going to convert it to paper, right? Now, if you're in the Philippines, for example, and you're used to making $10 a day, and all of a sudden you can grab $50 and turn that into $50 cash, you know what I'm saying? You know, because you made some money on your loan or whatever of your PML. If you take that $50, yes, you could do that. And you might feel like you're really well off for a moment, you know, because compared to the $10 a day you might be pulling in from your job or whatever you have, $50 might feel like you got a lot, but unless you have a need for that $50, why are you pulling it out? Okay, so a poor person thinks like, I got to have it in my hand, like it's got to be tangible paper in order for it to be real. Okay, that's how poor people look at it. Rich people are very happy to look at a screen and see whatever on the screen and say, that's real. Okay, poor people have a hard time with that. I'm doing a little comparison between mindsets here. Hope you don't mind. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just trying to help you see the contrast between a poor person thinking and a rich person thinking. Okay, a poor person wants to feel that paper in their hand. It's what makes them feel better. Okay, a rich person doesn't need that. A rich person looks at the numbers on their screen. I look at that 83,000 or now 82,000 and whatever it is. I see that as completely real. To me, it has the same feeling as if I had $82,000 sitting in the palm of my hand. If it's 82,000 on my computer screen, it has an identical feeling, and I'm rich. It has the same feeling. A poor person doesn't see it that way. Okay? Again, I'm asking you to change. If you really want to change, if you really want to get rich, you got to change. So if you have that $50, then how's that $50 going to multiply if it's in your hand? That paper money, okay, it's done. It's reached the end of the road, your palm. Okay, when it's in your hand or in your back pocket or your purse, wherever you put your money, under your bed, in your curtains, you know, wherever you stash it away, okay, it's hit the end of the road if it's in paper form. If it's in digital form, it can still multiply. $50 can turn into $70, and $70 can turn into $300, and $300 can turn into $5,000. It can multiply because it's digital. It can move around and do stuff. But the minute that you turn it into paper money, that's the end of the road, Jack. That's it. No more. It's not going to grow because it's there. It's now in a place where you can spend it. And the moment you spend it, it's gone. Right? How many of you gone back to the store and said, I spent money with you. Can I get that money back? No, they're not going to give it back. Right? You spent it there. Okay. I mean, I got to shave yesterday. I look nice and fresh now. I can't go back there today and say, you know, that money I gave you yesterday, can I have it back? No, I paid for a service. It's done. Okay. It's gone. Poor people don't seem to realize that once you spend the money, it's gone. How's that going to work for you if it's gone? Right? So the change that you need to make here in the way you think, you got to think about accumulation and multiplication. Okay? You cannot multiply something that is at the end of the road in your palm. You can't multiply something that is spent money. Okay? It's gone. Can't do nothing about that. It's in the past already. But if it's sitting in the digital world on your computer screen or your phone screen or whatever, if it's sitting there, then maybe there's places you can move it around and it can multiply and grow. And that's what pole funding is all about, is about a system that allows us to move things around so it will grow. Okay? So think about the people that spent money back here. Let me show you what I mean by back here. They were allowed to sell PML coin without really much of an issue back here. What am I talking about? Okay. They're able to do it back here. Okay. Let me see if I can make the screen bigger here. Okay. You see these people here? Okay. Imagine the people that sold here and sold there and sold here. This is the PML chart. These people that sold their coin, it's gone, right? It's not PML anymore. It's gone, right? The other people that didn't sell their coin that were here, they're still holding on to it. Now take a look at what happened. Okay. Look at what happened. The people that held on to the coin, they didn't sell it. Now their coins are much more valuable. They were here. Now they're valued up here. Okay. Same coin in a digital space, right? And it's now worth more. So that's one way that it multiplies. So accumulating on a rising price is one way that we create wealth. Okay. And so our target, by the way, for PML is $1 million per coin. We'd like to get to the target as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, we didn't hit that target during our promo, which ended at the end of August. Okay. Well, that was our promo period. It was a well promotion. Okay. Didn't quite make it. And I'm okay with that. That's life. But look, here's our all-time high for PML. And we're so close. We're so close to making a new all-time high, being way up here. But back here, I was just talking about the idea of going to 1 million. Back here is when I talked about it. And look at all the progress that we've made since we put the combined effort in to make it happen. Okay. So yes, you can sell PML coin, but do so in a way that benefits you in the long run, not the short run. Just because something feels good doesn't mean it is good. Okay. Just because it feels good in the palm of your hand doesn't make sense that that's where, it's an illusion, right? It's an illusion if you think it only feels good when it's in the palm of your hand. Okay. Let it be, let it grow on the website. You see, if you've got $50 on the website, then you can do a loan. Okay. Think about that. If you got $50, if you took it out, you can't do a loan. But if you leave it in there, you can do a loan. A month later, that could turn into $100. Now, next month, you could do 2 loans. So you do 2 $50 loans, right? By leaving it in there, right? And 200 become, 100 becomes 200 and 200 becomes 400, 800, and then max out at 1,500. But what if I told you that might not be the max? Maybe by the time we get to that, point, maybe 3, 4, maybe down the road here, maybe sooner than we think. What if I told you that we increased the limit for the lenders to 2 a day instead of 1 a day? And then the max would be $3,000 a month. And what if you got a spouse and she was making 3,000, or he or she, or it? So here they can make $3,000 a day, and you can make $3,000 a day, and it only takes seconds. It's only 3 clicks, right? So yeah, so I'm looking at increasing the limit on the lenders to 2 a day, but it depends. We got to do it at the right time. We got to make that increase at the right time. When is the right time? Well, let's take a look at that. So if you take a look here on the website, take note that if I go to the lend area, all right, so the last loan to be taken was 866. Okay. All right, so that's the lender pool there. And if you come here, look at all those blue, blue and green. Blue and green, that means that those are offers that are in the works. My next one is 891. Okay. But if you look here, 29.6, 29.4, 29.8, and 28.9. Here's another one, 28.9, right? I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of my loans were actually grabbed by borrowers in a single day. Now, it took me 5 days to insert those loans, okay? You see my point? It took me 5 days to insert those loans into the system here, but they all got grabbed by borrowers in a single day. You follow me, guys? Right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do I got left over? I've only got 5 left. I used to have like 15. I used to have like 15 open ones, right? And the momentum is on the borrower side now. We got more borrowers coming in right now than lenders. Okay. So we got open. We got only 5 more, right? So it could get to the point where as soon as I open up a loan, it gets taken right away, right? It could get back to that point. It started out that way at the beginning, way up here. That's how it started. But the trend is now in favor of the borrower because they can do 4 at a time. They can do 4 loans all in a single shot, whereas a lender can only do one a day. Okay. And with our line of credit program coming out very soon, brand new people that have no involvement with us before can come in and take out 4 loans just by signing up. Well, it's going to be called our DD line of credit, DD for double dip. Okay. And it's going to be all automated. We're working on it. It's going to be done soon. So brand new people are going to come in and snag up 4 of these loan offers just by signing up. Okay. And they'll have the double dip experience. It'd be completely automated. So yeah, we might have to increase the ability to lend because the demand by the borrower could be so great because of growth. Okay. That's our system, by the way. If we're leveraging anything, we're leveraging growth, right? That's probably true for everything, your country, your business. I mean, it's all growth, right? It's what matters. So system. So if the guy has $50 and takes it out, spends it, you don't have $50 anymore. But the guy who leaves it in the system and then uses it to do a loan, then he turns that into 2 loans, and he turns that into 4 loans, and turns that into 8 loans. Before you know it, they got $1,500 a month coming in. Now, let's say you got $1,500 of we'll just call it income, okay? And you live in the Philippines, and you're Filipino. You're a Filipino living in the Philippines. I'm just using the local area, I love all of you all around the world, but this is where I live. I see it with my eyes, what's going on here. Now, if you're a Filipino living in the Philippines and you got $1,500 per month coming in as income, the other Filipinos look at you, you're rich. Okay? So from Filipino to Filipino, they're going to go, that one's rich. They got $1,500 coming in every month. They're rich. Compared to the guy who's making $200 a month at that office job, trading their time and energy and effort and talent and skill for money, and only making, poverty income, $200 a month. Okay. Right. Compared to that guy, $1,500 is a lot more than that $200 guy who works his ass off. Right. So the $1,500, he comes in for a few seconds, click, 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 he's done. Comes in the next day, click, 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 he's done. The guy working his ass off only getting $200, 200 pesos per month, $200 paid in pesos. He's working long days. He's got to commute to and from the office and all that garbage, and that guy's going to stay poor. Okay, that guy's going to stay poor at that job that he's only getting paid $200, a month, right, for working really, really hard. Whereas the guy that's getting $1,500 a month, he just comes in for a few seconds. He never leaves his couch in front of his TV in his living room, in his nice home. Click, 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 he's done for the day. The next day, click, 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 he's done that day. And then a month later at $1,500, right? How many of you want to be the $1,500 a month guy? Do you all want to be that guy?
Yes.
But if you sell
Yes.
early,
Yeah.
your PML coin, then you're not going to have the money to turn 1 loan into 2 loans, and 2 loans into 4 loans, and 4 loans into 8, and so on, because you're spending it as fast as it comes in, right? And then if you try spending your PFG, you can only do it one time and then you're out. You know, you won't be on the distribution list anymore. You won't be qualified to get paid training anymore. Okay? So you screw yourself, right? Poverty thinking will screw you. Okay? Anybody who thinks like a poor person has got a mental condition. Okay? I'm saying those words on purpose. Some of you think like this is a mental condition. Okay? I see it the same way. If you're poor thinking, it's like this. It's like walking around like this. You got a mental condition. And that's why you're poor, because you're not willing to change your mind. An unwillingness to change your mind is a disability. Do you understand what I'm saying to you guys?
Yep.
Yes.
It's a severe, it's a tragic disability. Okay? Those of you that just find yourself circumstantially in a impoverished situation today, nothing wrong with you. You just got to change your mind. You got to upgrade from poverty thinking to wealth thinking, to you know, wealth creation, to thinking like a rich person. When a rich person talks, you listen. You pay close attention to what a rich person has to say. Pay very close attention. Take good notes. Remember what they say, and then do what they say. That's how you become rich. Okay? That's the path. You don't take offense that someone called you mentally ill. Okay? No, instead you say, he's right. Anybody that holds on to poverty thinking has got a severe disability, right? Right? Severe. Okay? Bad. Let it go. Don't sell your treasure. Let your treasure multiply. Okay? That's your PML coin. That's your PFG coin. That's all of your coin, all of your digital coin. Don't sell it. All right? If you need to, like, okay, you need $10, then just take $10 out. Don't take the whole 50 out. Take $10 out and use that to buy your rice or whatever you got to do to feed yourself that day. Okay? Don't take all of it out. Just because you can doesn't mean that you're going to benefit by doing it. You benefit by not doing it. Okay? I'm drilling hard, drilling really hard, guys. Drilling, because we've got almost 200 of you listening to me, getting paid to be here to listen to me tell you how to change your mind. Don't sell your coin. Instead, let them accumulate, and then there's timing. Okay, when do you sell? And when it comes to the PML coin, look, right now is not a good time to sell. Okay, because we're pushing the price up to $1 million. I mean, why would I want to, you know, if I've got a pie, why would I want a quarter of the pie when I could have the whole pie? Right? Like if I just let my coin sit, the value of the coin sitting is going to be worth like 4 times more than what it is right now. As the price goes from like, you know, 200,000 up to $1 million, the price will get there. Okay, we're so close. Let me show you how close we are. All we got to do is we got to eliminate some of these numbers that you see here. Okay, the contract here is down to 1.8%. Okay, so 0.01 is 1%. So that's 1%.8. Okay. Oh, that gets down to that 8 turns into a 0. That puts us right at 1%. That'll put us in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $1 million valuation on our coin. Okay, on PML. We're so close. All right. The pancake thing's all the way off the first page. It's not even on the first page anymore. We're on the second page with the pancake, what it's holding on to. It's all the way down here on 56, pancake. It's only got 002 right inside of it. And there's one more contract here, right there. That's a liquidity contract. That's a 0014. That's got to disappear. That should disappear soon, right? That 143. And that's it. As far as contracts goes, just those 3. There's so little to dry up. So as we dry up the liquidity, the price moves faster to the target of $1 million. Okay. So as the PML liquidity gets really tiny, the speed at which we go from, where we're at to where our target is $1 million per coin goes up faster. Okay. I think I saw it yesterday move like $10,000 on a $200 purchase. So $200 moved the price of PML $10,000 in the market, right? A $200 purchase. Okay. So that just goes to show you that it's moving pretty fast already. But what happens when you put 200 in and it moves up $50,000, right? On just a $200 purchase, because there's such a small amount of PML coin in the liquidity contract. That's what we're doing. We're squeezing it there to arrive at our price target of 1 million. Why 1 million? 1 million because there's a lot of $50 units inside 1 million. It's just a comfort zone. Okay. We're more comfortable, issuing out money at $50 a pop, when it's coming out of $1 million instead of it coming out of a smaller number like 200,000. Now our floor is 50,000. That's still true. That's way down below us, and we're good. We're a long ways from 50,000, so that feels good, But yeah, I did say that we're going to be watching people carefully for the first day or two on if they sold PML coin. That's no longer true. Right now, just learn from what I'm saying here. Yes, you can sell, but always realize if you don't have $1,500 of PML coin, why are you selling? Right? If you've got $300 of PML coin and you sold $50 of it, why? You can accumulate faster if you can just hold tight. Now, if you say, well, I got this need. Well, how much does that need? $20. Then just take 20 out. Don't take 50 out. It's a savings account, not an ATM, right? Treat it like a savings account that's multiplying your money. That's exactly what it's doing. Okay. It's doubling your money monthly if you do it the right way. Get it up over $1,500 a month. You might need it to get up over $3,000 a month. If we double up the lender offer, right, you need at least $3,000 of it that you can lend out every month, and turn 3,000 into 6,000 every month, right? That'd be cool. I think that's going to happen sooner than later. We'll see what happens when the line of credit comes. If the growth that I expect comes with the line of credit that we're going to be putting out there, yeah, we're going to need to double up the lending thing real soon. Probably in this month, September. We'll see. Maybe not. But you can see the speed is already happening for the borrowers. So if you got anything out of today's training, you've learned one thing: don't sell your coin, don't sell your PML, don't sell your PFG, don't sell. Like if you got one thing, just one silly idea that sticks in your head after a training like this, after I went blah, 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 blah for an hour, okay? If you only got one thing, don't sell my coin. Don't sell my PFG. Don't sell my PML. That's it. If that's all you got out of this, you're a winner, okay? If I talked right over your head and nothing got stuck in there, you might be in this category with a pretty severe mental condition, okay? Because I'm talking straight out to you, trying to turn you around, right? I'm trying to help you help yourself to get out of poverty, but you got to change your mind. You got to be willing. You got to follow direction from the rich people. They're telling you how to do it, okay? You just got to do it. All right. Now, Joe, you've been paying close attention to everything I've been saying. I've been watching you as I've been, bouncing off of you a little bit, believe it or not. I'd like to hear your thinking and thoughts, Joe. You can unmute. He's looking for his mute button.
Yeah, sorry, I went onto the website for a minute.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I was listening.
All right.
Well, I think it feels to me, and with the people I've talked with, that, you know, this is a shift in how most people think about cryptocurrency. It's a shift because we're not in it to trade and sell. You know, again, this is like a savings account that you just let it build and build, and you know, the way that it's set up for all of us is that, you know, it multiplies by keeping it in, it multiplies. And especially doing the loans and the borrowing. I've already borrowed, you know, taken out my 4 loans. And I've been doing the lending every day and just, you know, be consistent with that. And it's going to pay off. And this is, you know, it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, you know, I just encourage everyone to, you know, take that to heart and just understand that in the long run, we are all going to benefit from this by just following the system. So,
And that's that word system, right?
yeah, that's it. It's
That's the
definitely
key,
the system.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Paying attention to the system is better than paying attention to the palm of your hand. Okay? Because the palm of your hand ain't going to make you rich. You're holding on to that paper money. Okay?
You don't get rich spending it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get rich spending it. You get rich by accumulating it and multiplying it. And systems do that. And our system's designed to move you in through our website, through our pool funding website, where your referrals are sending you USDT, which is spendable to the tune of $1 million a year. So all of this money we're accumulating in PML, PFG, and all that, it's accumulating to the point where it's going to move through the system, through the website, and come out USDT from your referrals, and $1 million a year. That's the point, and that's the big reward, right? That's where, yeah, private jets, whatever lifestyle you can imagine is possible. $1 million a year cash flow.
Yeah. Think big.
Think big, guys.
Think big. Yeah. The magic of thinking big. Yeah.
Read that book a long time ago. So we got two
Yeah,
people
me
with their
too.
hands up. We got Hunter and Paul. Let's start with Hunter. He had his hand first, and then Paul, you're next.
All right, so I want to go back to something Joe was saying for a second and kind of bounce off of it a little. And yes, this is a big shift in the way that people think about crypto, and it is actually a shift that is needed. Now, some of you may have noticed when I've posted little updates in the wall of joy as to how many loans have been lent out, that I also put little messages in that update there that some of you might not even noticed or paid attention to or anything of that nature. If not, then I would highly recommend you go back and read them. But ultimately, what it boils down to, and I've honestly been trying to push people towards this idea for quite a while, for the past couple months now at least. Crypto is not what you sell to get money. Crypto is the money. And I think that's something everyone here on this call needs to understand right now if they don't already. Because
You're right.
if not, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you make a good point. The whole point of developing a currency is that currency is used exactly the same way you'd use any other thing you'd call money. And we're developing our economic development portion is coming probably more like the big part of it next year, but maybe we'll launch a marketplace before the end of this year, which in that's where we'll be using our currencies as money in our own little marketplace. All right. Paul Thompson out of the UK. Hey, you showed up for the $50, or you're always up this time anyway. So
Yeah, I just want to kind of just talk about the fact, you know, when I'm talking to new people about pool funding, I always ask the question, if they could have purchased Bitcoin 10 years ago, and done it on a dollar cost averaging basis or however they did it. I haven't met a single person who wishes that they hadn't bought it 10 years ago and hung on to it.
15
that's
years ago,
exactly-
even better.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the situation that we're in with all of these tokens, but PML, of course, in particular, and of course, the PFG and all of them, basically, is that we're in the early stages of another Bitcoin experience. And so we should learn from all of the drama that we put ourselves through by buying Bitcoin back in the day and selling it, and now everybody who's done that, which is vast numbers of us, are full of regret for doing it.
Mhm.
So let's learn from that experience and
Yeah, that's a
do
good
something
point.
different.
Yeah, so yeah, for those that have that story to tell, that I was presented Bitcoin way back when, or I purchased some way back when, but didn't hold on to it very long. Yeah, there's a lot of regret there. Not everybody here on the calls had that experience, but we all have experiences where we wish we'd have done something different. Well, guys, you've come to Pool Funding for the opportunity to do something. Hi, cutie pie.
Yeah.
Our newest member. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we all have had experiences where we've learned the hard way. That if we'd done something different, things would have turned out better. So the reason we come to Pool Funding is that we can just learn ahead of that, and so we don't even have to experience the regret. Just realize when you come to Pool Funding, we're here about shifting you from a certain way of looking at things to a much better way of looking at things, so that a brand new person joins us, that person's got an equal opportunity at becoming a millionaire their first year in Pool Funding as anybody else. Okay? They could come in with all kinds of limitations, they could come in with that. They keep showing up, they keep collecting their paid training. As they collect that paid training, and they're gonna release some of these inabilities, these disadvantages, and all that, So we've got people in our membership, very, very active people in our membership that actually are disabled people, and they're very, very dedicated to Pool Funding. And I'm not talking about mentally disabled. I'm talking about people, that have other types of handicaps, okay, other than mental conditions, and yet they haven't let those things stop them from doing Pool Funding, okay. And I'm so proud of these people, because I look at them and go, wow, people only knew. And I'm so excited about turning that kind of a person, take the person in the wheelchair, take the person in whatever, and turn them into a millionaire. And that would be a bold statement, right? To do that. And I want to
Yeah.
fill this up with bold statements like that. So none of you have an excuse, right? None of you will be able to say, I'm excused, I get to be poor for the rest of my life. No, it's a choice. You chose to be poor. You chose to stay poor. You chose not to listen. You picked up money and you left, right? It was all choice, right? But you could choose better. Like Paul says, if you choose better, you won't have regret. Regret's a terrible thing to live with, right? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's never fun. All right. So let's go forward with the idea that we've got a system. The system is driving towards cash flow using the Pool Funding website, which turns into USDT, which is very spendable, up to $1 million a year, or not up to, but easily to $1 million a year, and then beyond. Not limited to $1 million a year by any way. Jeffrey, your hand's been up and down. Do you have a thought you want to interject, Jeffrey? Our friend from
Just
Arkansas, right?
Can you hear me? Yes, sir. North Central.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The coin prices. I know it's weird because you're tomorrow. for us over here, you're already in the mark.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the coin prices. Ace, our coin, I think it's in the last 24 hours, if I'm reading the chart right. I mean, they're up 16.2%,
Yeah.
14.4, 2.13, 17.8, and 50.9%. And I had an experience today of paying a couple of my loans and seeing numbers move.
There you
So,
go.
like PFI just jumped in my wallet, like, whoa, I paid my loan, two of my loans back, and I paid myself really good. So, and like Miss Karen said, it's probably the price of the coin has jumped since you made the loan. So just not forget about those gains. So
Exactly.
I just going to say thank you for all this.
You're welcome. You're
That's all.
very welcome. And yeah, I even got a message from Carrie here, and
Yeah.
let me share that with you real quick. I hope she's okay if I share it. Let's see here. I wanted to get back to it. So she wrote no no you super inundated. Okay, I think she meant to say I know you are super inundated, okay, with messages. It's true, I got like 28 to return. But I really just want to say thank you to you. With PML, it's the first time I've ever made money online. And this really is only the start. Thank you, Ace. You are appreciated. I love appreciation, guys. You know, so I'm gonna come back and read that again. So I'm gonna mark it as unread. Okay. I love to be appreciated, of course. So but the fact is that for a lot of people, they've been doing this, that, and the other and haven't made any money online. And the first time that they actually do make money online, that's a big deal. And that's going to happen for a lot of people here in pool funding, just like it has for our friend Carrie out of Thailand. You know, she's making money online now because of the PML. It's working. You don't need to build a team. You know, that one actually works without building a team, the PML. You just need to put your money to work, you know, double your money every month. And it's working beautifully because you can put a loan in and hopefully your borrower will pay it off early, you know, because there's no limitation on how fast someone can pay it off. Someone can pay it off like you saw me do today. I paid it off 29 days early. Okay. So, you know, I was a very early payer. But if we just got into the you know, pattern of doing it, you know, a week early, and that then things will go a lot smoother for everyone. It's a good for the system if we pay off our loans early. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for a lot of participation. We had a lot of participation today. I do appreciate all of you that are here. So much so that we're sending you $50 PFG coin today. Okay. Because of the internet situation being bad at our house, and I'm at the coffee shop now. I know Nancy's also here at the coffee shop. Give her a chance to take longer to pay. She got more people to pay than normal, and she got a lot of people to pay today, and we don't have a good internet situation. So just give her a break. Don't don't interrupt what she's trying to do. She can be busy all day paying you. So let her be, right? So unless you really need her for some reason, right? Just let her just pay people because she got to do this again tomorrow when we do the paid opportunity meeting. Okay. So come and support the opportunity meeting and we'll pay you $50 for showing up for that too. And if you're in the UK, we're going to be publishing the Zoom link for the paid training for the UK at 8 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday. We'll be putting that up on the Wall of Joy very soon. Okay, so look for the poster with Mr. Gildas, and we'll be putting a Zoom link to that up and coming meeting, and then you'll see that a couple of times before the first meeting. So those of you in the UK or Africa that speak English, there you go. Tuesdays and Saturdays, you get paid training, and that should make it a little better for everyone around the world. All right, I think at this point we can just all unmute and say, I'm not going to sell my coin.
I'm not gonna
I'm
sell
not
my
selling
coin.
my
selling
coin.
my coin.
I'm not gonna sell my coin.
My coin. No, no, no.
Don't need to see it, coin.
I'm not gonna sell my coin.